I remember one little girl we looked after, she was 4. She had no language to be able to express how she felt. If she was, I mean, we could tell when she was happy, obviously, and upset and angry, but she couldn't speak about anything that was worrying her or bothering her, or she didn't ask questions. She didn't question her situation at all, and we had to, over a period of time, we tuned into her I had to tune into her very well to be able to read her body language and her physical appearance. She would get very flushed when she became anxious, and I would know straight away that she was worrying about something, and would then sort of try and coax things out of her to get her to explain what was bothering her.
I always think, well, what if it was me? How would I feel? How would I want things to happen? And I do that a lot. And in a sense, I'm able to empathize, because my parents migrated to this country when I was quite young. And I could not remember my mother and father. And at the age of 11, with my other siblings, my 3 other siblings, we came to join them. So it was I had to form a relationship with these adults that I just could not remember. Basically, I didn't know, in a new environment. So I can empathize and know how difficult that can be. So I'm able to put myself in their place and probably think about the reason why they behave in the way which they behave.
You know, sometimes I'll walk by just to listen what they're doing, what they're saying, and if they have an argument or quarreling or fussing with somebody, not fighting, I thought, well, at least these children is comfortable with each other. If I used to argue with my brothers, my younger brothers and sisters, and but we try to keep these children at a balance.
I wouldn't be that direct with any children about sitting them down and saying to them, come on, you've got to talk, share what's on your heart, because I think that closes the door straight away, because they feel, I've got to talk. What do I suppose I say this? What's she going to say? I think that is so unnatural, and that isn't what it's about. It's about making the child feel comfortable, that it's good for them to approach you.
If something is really upsetting and she doesn't know how to handle it, she writes notes. And I suggested that we could do that if she felt she could express her feelings better in a note when she didn't know how to verbalise what she was feeling. And so we've had evenings where we've just spent the whole evening passing notes back and forth to each other. But it gets the problem sorted, because she expresses her feelings on paper, and I can give her strategies to cope on paper. And eventually, when we've done it that way, there'll come a time when she will actually talk about these things, but she seems unable to open the subject and to let you know how she feels about it, and that's one good way that we can do it, and it works for her, so it's fine.
Our little boy was wanting this, wanting that, wanting the other, and I said, you can choose one thing, you choose one thing. He chose one, put it in, then put another one in the trolley, and I said, no, put that one back. In the end, he took the trolley off me, he rammed it into this, honestly, little old lady, into the backs of her legs, and we got an hand each. We just abandoned the trolley. He threw himself on the floor. We abandoned the trolley and we led him outside.
Escorted him.
Kicking and screaming. Sam took him to the car and sat on the back seat with him. I went back in and finished the shopping and left him to have a chat, didn't I?
Well, funnily enough, a lot of these behaviours are exhibited when there's an audience. And because it was raining quite heavily, and because once we got through the revolving door there was no audience, he seemed to stop almost immediately. And then he broke down in tears, and then so we sat in the car and talked it through. On that occasion, on that particular occasion in the supermarket incident, he did say that he was angry about having to leave his natural mother. So when we got back, which we made it as short as possible, so when we got back, he has a photo album with his mum in. I said, well, let's fetch it down and let's talk about her and talk about the reasons why you had to leave her, and we went through all that, and that seemed to put it to rest for a while, and that dealt with it.
We've said to him, we know you're angry, we know a lot of things have happened to you that shouldn't have happened to you, and they were terrible, but you have got to leave them now and move on. You're going to have a happy life now. They will always be there, and we will talk about them whenever you want to talk about it, and sometimes he does.
I guess they didn't know how I was feeling. When I was down, there was always somebody there to put their arm around me and say, are you all right? When I was happy, they were happy too, so it was just a real natural bond that we got.
I always remember one of my biggest memories when I was first being fostered and then I got adopted, was I had a favourite programme that was on the TV called Home and Away. And there was a lady in it called Pippa who used to foster loads of runaway children and children from different backgrounds. And I always remember my mum had sat me down with my sister, and I think my dad was there as well. And they were trying to explain how, you know, that's what mine was like, and that these children come into this placement and they were getting fostered and eventually they might get adopted. And I always remember at the time, God, I was about 8, and I used to sit and laugh because it went in, but I didn't really understand. And then my sister would sit and try to explain. And that was one of the first memories, I think, of my parents trying to explain how I was actually fostered and then adopted at the time.